Now on CBC Vancouver News.
You're still going through it. Is it going to hit you? Is it going to miss you?
Wildfires force hundreds of people from their homes in the Kootenays. Plus,
some of the market will go underground to unregulated platforms.
New data shows thousands of short-term rentals are still operating illegally in BC. What the province plans to do to crack down. And
if we don't have a recourse, we're going to leave the apples on the trees and let them rot.
Some BC fruit growers ask the province to save a long-time cooperative many rely on to package and share their locally grown harvests.
This is CBC Vancouver News.
Hello, I'm Dan Burwood. Thanks for joining us. Hundreds of British Columbians are on evacuation order as 360 or so wildfires burn across the province, 6 of them considered of note.
This is CBC Calgary News.
Good afternoon. I'm Malika Kareem in the CBC Calgary studio. Firefighters have extinguished the flames that ravaged Jasper. Now the challenge is to stop the town from reigniting again. And as Travis McEwen reports, it could be days before firefighters will know if they've succeeded.
This is CBC Edmonton News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us, or good afternoon and thanks for joining us. The fires in the town of Jasper are out nearly 5 days since parts of the town burned. Parks Canada and the municipality are working on a staggered re-entry of nearly 5,000 residents. As Travis McEwen reports, upcoming wildfire conditions aren't favorable and could change quickly.
Tonight,
just chaos.
Rattled but unharmed. A Saskatoon family recounts a rude awakening after a truck slammed into their house. Also, Saskatoon hurdler Michelle Harrison says she is fulfilling a lifelong dream by competing on sport's biggest stage, the Olympic Games. Plus, a not-so-dry heat in Saskatchewan. We look into why it's been so humid this summer.
This is CBC Saskatchewan News.
It is Friday, August 2nd, and the CBC Saskatchewan News starts right now. Good evening, and thank you for watching. David Harmon says he knows it could have been a lot worse. Early Wednesday morning, a truck smashed into his Saskatoon home. It caved in his son's bedroom wall while the teen was sleeping. Dan Zakreski brings us their story.
This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. Harassed, evicted, and left with nowhere to go. A Winnipeg man is speaking about his experience with the same landlord who recently forced out dozens of tenants from a building on College Avenue. This man claims the same landlord bullied him so severely he filed a complaint with the Human Rights Commission. CBC's Rosanna Hempel reports.
Good evening. I'm Peter Duck. Jason is off tonight. Here's what's making news in our area. The bus is the way to go for more and more people in Windsor, but are improvements to transit happening quickly enough? Plus, they called her the Queen of Tecumseh. A town pays tribute to a former councillor. And LaSalle's Kylie Moss is back in the pool at her 3rd Olympic Games. More people are riding the bus in Windsor. A report going to City Council shows ridership levels have increased over where they were at before the pandemic.
Spadina Avenue is getting a temporary dedicated bus lane beginning tomorrow. The city working to get it installed today. It's all in an effort to ease congestion as the 510 streetcars remain out of commission to make way for track repairs. Greg Ross is live at Front and Spadina. And Greg, the closure of the 510 has been causing headaches for commuters for weeks now. How are people reacting to this dedicated bus lane that's coming?
Good evening. I'm Celeste DeCare. Your local news starts right now. sort of cramming in and people are pushing and shoving to get on. So it really wasn't pleasant and really uncomfortable.
Commuter chaos finally over. Transit riders and drivers return to their normal routine after weeks of delays and construction closures. But questions remain about the possibility of OC Transpo scaling back LRT service to once every 10 minutes starting next month.
It's really the only market of its kind in the city. Although there are things that we might be able to do to move things this way or that way, it's hard to think of an alternative to the Lansdowne market.
Vendors at the popular Sunday Farmers Market have just a few months to find a new home in time for winter, when the iconic Aberdeen Pavilion will be closed for major renovations. And
Finally, I realized that I've done it. My dream just came true.
She's done it all right. Krista Deguchi makes history, winning Canada's first ever gold medal in judo. All your Olympic highlights are just ahead. After weeks of headaches and detours, some relief for commuters and drivers today. Highway 417 and the O train both reopened this morning. Jody Applewhite has the latest.
Tonight, Communoto members struggling to find a car.
People are feeling pissed off, a lot of angry because they kind of rely on Communoto.
The car sharing company lacking vehicles during the summer holiday season.
We didn't receive all the cars that we ordered.
The heat and humidity is on, and it's here for a good stretch.
Like 5 days, not continuous, but it's going to be kind of a long bout.
And women's judo captures the Olympic spotlight, Canada's first gold medal in the 2024 Paris Games.
Finally, I realized that I've done it. My dream just came true.
Good evening, I'm Sudha Krishnan. Deborah is off this week. It is a service many Montrealers rely on for a weekend getaway, for example. In fact, Communoto has been gaining traction in recent years as many turn to car sharing instead of car ownership.
This is CBC New Brunswick News.
Well, good evening and thank you for joining us. It has been 50 years since a one-of-a-kind sports car started up production here in New Brunswick. And to mark the occasion, lovers and collectors of the sleek gull-winged Bricklin
This is Friday, August 2nd. You're watching Compass on CBC. Here's what's making news on PEI.
They told us that it's a done deal already. Why has this gotten this far and nobody has known about it?
Plans to build a new, safer mussel landing area at Keir Shore appear to be full steam ahead. Some residents in the area say they have concerns and only learned details of the plan last night.
North American species of indigenous grasses that we think would have really good drought tolerance and heat tolerance.
Farming has to evolve along with the environment, but that takes money. Ottawa and the province are offering funding to help some island farms adapt to the changing climate. Good evening, I'm Louise Martin. Thank you for joining us for a special Olympic half-hour edition of Compass. One person is dead after a single vehicle accident this morning. The crash forced the closure of the Trans-Canada Highway in Albany for several hours.
This is CBC Nova Scotia News.
Tonight, Dow protests. People in the pro-Palestinian encampment on campus clear out. We have the latest. Shooting aftermath. The latest on a gunfight at Africville Park that sent 5 people to hospital on the weekend. And watch party. Getting behind a Nova Scotia boxer and his first win at the Summer Olympics.
Increasing clouds tonight, a chance of showers overnight and into Tuesday, especially for eastern areas, but some sunshine in the mix as well. Your full forecast is coming up.
Good evening. Dalhousie University is shutting down all Halifax campuses until further notice. In an alert sent to the school community late this afternoon, the university cites what it's calling safety concerns. It's not clear why Dalhousie is doing this because earlier today, protesters dismantled their 2.5 months long pro-Palestinian encampment shortly after police arrived on campus. The CBC's Josh Hoffman has the latest for us now on today's developments.
Tonight, the province is pledging to spend less on private nurses, and a shipwreck on the southwest coast will stay where it is for now.
This is CBC Here and Now.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Heather Gillis. The Provincial Health Authority says it is working to spend less on private nurses. This after documents obtained by CBC.
Nunno sakkutungo CBC Igalaaq kutsaala matillagu iva Michael yunga. Kanata me ministeri ya Inuit to hakkunu kangaltiner milaartu tabbali pinasuarusittinni uqausaqhariartortuni kanata me kino ya $19 million sannepartausimayut salumanersama ummaqqutilernermut kivallermi.
Good evening and welcome to a special early edition of Northbeat. I'm Shannon Scott. The Supreme Court of Canada recently ruled that the Crown must pay an Ontario First Nation for not raising its annual treaty payments for 150 years. This could lead to a multi-billion-dollar settlement. And as Nadir Hashmi reports, it could also lead to Indigenous governments in the Northwest Territories taking similar actions.